Go ahead.
How's it going, everybody? You know, I like a lot of what Judge Joe Brown said, but I actually have a question for the judge pertaining to a different issue. And I want to ask the judge, you know, you're a member of Phi Alpha Delta, right?
No, Alpha Phi Alpha.
Okay.
I'm actually a member of Phi Alpha Delta. That's funny you said that. That's
okay. So Phi Alpha Delta, they had you on their website, so that's why I asked. But you know, I wanted to ask your opinion and your judicial experience about competency proceedings, right? And you know, in my particular case, a diversion evaluation was repurposed to competency without a hearing. Okay, and the Superior Court of California right now, okay, since we're talking about the rule of law, which is gone as far as I'm concerned, are actively concealing this. Now, I filed a state bar complaint alleging that my attorney, you know, abandoned me. He hasn't contacted me in the last 3 months or responded to any of my correspondences, and they ratified it. The state bar, the chief trial counsel of the state bar, okay, ratified my attorney abandoning me, and that's where I'm at right now. See, right now, I refuse to appear to court until the court can verify subject matter jurisdiction over the competency proceedings that had already committed me to the hospital. Okay, I get out, I tell my attorney, hey, were you able to locate that court order? He tells me, no, it's a non-issue. The court told you the same thing the last time we were in court. And then I tell him, you know, why is the Marsden hearing the only opportunity I have at redress, right? And the court acknowledges no court order for that assessment in the Marsden hearing. They continue to deny and seal the hearing, okay, effectively denying me any opportunity at redress. Now, when we look at the penal code, okay, the penal code is explicit when it talks about, you know, every person, you know, all people who do X, Y, and Z are subject to the punishment of the laws of the state. Why am I being prejudiced? Okay, equal justice in California, in Los Angeles, okay, where I have due relief. What's going on, man? You know,
perhaps you are being treated unfairly. Perhaps what the problem is California has lost its way. I went to UCLA more than a half century ago, law school. All right.
Well, listen. The Gavin Newsom, not to cut you off, Judge, not to cut you off, because I gotta let you know this. Governor Newsom.
Wait a second. You asked him a question. He needs to answer. Let him answer the question.
I unloaded a lot there. But
it has to do with the answer. Now, let me get this out so you can understand something. I have an answer, but I'm not going to and can't give it to you, because if I do, the difference between me and just about everybody else on this space is this. If I give you a wrong answer, it's malpractice, civil, and also dealing with, perhaps, since I'm not licensed in California at the moment, unauthorized practice of law. The rest of you can say anything you want about anybody's situation, but if somebody like me says it's malpractice.
But you understand how that.
I understand.
You understand how that functionally leaves me in a disposition, though, right?
I understand.
Okay, so when we talk about, you know, the Second Amendment, right? When we talk about, you know, a citizen revoking consent, right? And when we talk about, you know, government officials inverting constitutional rights to cover up public corruption, I don't see why these people shouldn't be murdered, homie. Straight up.
Okay.
There's no rule of law.
We're not going to call for violence.
No, I'm not calling for violence. I'm expressing the sentiment.
Let me say this. I'm going to try to answer you within the limits that are put on me because I'm a professional.
Well, there are no limits. The rule of law is gone.
Yeah, there are limits because unlike everybody else, I'm an expert. I am a professional. And if I say the wrong thing, it is actionable civil malpractice.
Okay, so
I
can
could be
diversion
sued.
be repurposed to
No, hold
competency
on,
without a
hold on,
hearing?
hold on, hold
Can
on,
there
hold
be a
on.
competency
Hold
assessment
on. You're
without a
not
court
listening
order?
to me. You're listening to me. That's stating an opinion, and that would be giving you
No, I
advice,
asked the
which would
question.
be
Can a
yeah.
diversion
Well,
evaluation be
will you
repurposed
listen
to
carefully?
competency without a
Would
court
you
order?
listen carefully? If I tell you what I could tell you, I'd be giving you advice.
You're not telling
And
me what to do. You're just
I
answering a
am not.
basic question.
The difference is you may not think it, but somebody with my background, with my professional status, might think differently. And I don't know you, son. You're not a family member. I've heard you. I'm impressed by what you say sometimes on this space. But I'm not going to put myself in a position of suffering liability civilly and criminally by saying certain things you may think are happen to be all right, but
Okay, so
somebody
my
else
question
who
is
can
not
come after it may not. Now, that just has to be the be all and end all. So I said that rather than letting you go on at long length,
okay.
expecting me to come up with a
Okay. You know,
suggestion
I
or giving
accept
you
that.
analysis. Now,
I
let me
accept
give
that.
you what I can tell you. When you're talking about sovereign citizens, the citizen has sovereignty because he's part of a collective whole. It is the entirety, the body of citizens that are sovereign. Any individual has sovereignty because he's part of that whole. The individual citizen does not have the standing to act as a sovereign because he is essentially powerless against the body that is sovereign.
Because
You
the
will
guarantee clause hasn't been
no, that
enforced.
it's got nothing to do with that. It's
Why does it
this.
not?
Listen, I'm going to tell you. If you read an indictment, it says the people of the state of California, people of the state of Tennessee, people of New York, people of Florida versus Tom Jones. How many millions of people do they have in California? The people is a singular entity. Like a reasonable man in American law is what 12 people on a jury say it is. So it is a collective. The individual
Look,
has
man, there has to
minuscule.
be a
Listen to
reason the
me.
guarantee
Listen
clause
to me.
wasn't in.
I'm trying to tell you this.
Let him answer the question, please.
Now, here's what the problem is. It's one of power. When you talk about millions of people, they have real palpable power and they have agents that can act for them. Mr. Williams, will you show the defendant whether or not your key to lockup works? If it does, Mr. Williams, Mr. Duckett, uh, Sergeant, would you please escort the defendant back there and detain him and show him what power is about? You represent the state of Tennessee. Exercise the authority of the state of Tennessee under the orders of this court. So he's locked up. He can't resist. He doesn't have the power. Sovereignty is now and always has been about the ability to manifest power to back up authority. And that's what it's all about. So when you take that one so-called sovereign citizen, he has minuscule power, except as an aggravator perhaps, to do anything against the collective people.
Right, but
Now that's a political science lesson.
right,
It's
but
not law.
when it's
Judge, can we distill it to might makes right? Going back to Thucydides?
but
Exactly.
hold on, how do you justify the state violating the rights of an individual?
Because they can.
Says who?
But you see, they do. But you
That's not
see,
what the
there is a
Constitution
It says
United
says.
the beating they'll give
You
you. It
see,
says the murder, the violence that they have a
you
monopoly on.
see,
That's who
here's the
says
What are
who.
you
thing.
talking
The
about? First of all,
United,
I'm not talking
the,
to you, so
the
just wait your
United
turn, bro.
States of listen. The
I'm
United.
Okay,
talking to
well,
you,
you ain't
bro.
ready to talk to me.
Okay, stop. Listen. The state has the authority to act. The only entity that has the power to overrule the state is the United States government, because there are 320 to 380 million legal people in the United States. Maybe 410, 420
The
if you count the
Constitution doesn't
illegals.
give the government the right,
I
no state the right to
understand.
violate rights.
Excuse me. The Constitution is a body of law. It is a specification of law. There is a court known as the U.S. Supreme Court that has the exclusive authority to apply it. Now, when it applies it, that's the law. It represents the law part of a triumvirate of executive to carry out the laws, the legislative to make the laws, and the judiciary to interpret and apply the law.
Yeah, I understand
That
that.
triumvirate determines the application of power. The United States runs NATO. The United States runs the UN. All of these international courts ain't shit unless the United States, Russia, China, and a few other select entities back them up, because they have the world of power. The United States has the dollar as the world's currency because the United States Navy has Ohio-class nuclear ballistic submarines under the Arctic ice cap that can incinerate the planet Earth. And that blackmail makes the dollar the paramount financial instrument of exchange.
Okay, well,
Now,
how does
that's
this?
the reality.
Okay,
Well, okay, so
how does the
can
state?
this be the last question? Because I need to get to the other speakers.
How does the state have authority to violate individual rights?
Because they have the power until somebody more powerful tells them they can't.
Okay,
And then it gets up to the top
I.e.
where,
corruption.
come
no,
on,
not
man.
corruption, law.
No,
And
it's
the
not
police,
law.
the
I'm confused now,
sheriffs,
Judge.
the highway patrols,
It's
the state agencies, they have the power. The
fraud.
next move
Fraud
up is
vitiates
National
everything.
Guard,
Fraud
the Army
vitiates everything.
Reserves for the state.
And let me tell you
Excuse
something,
me.
man.
All right,
We're
no,
not
no,
talking
wait,
about
stop for a
fraud
second.
here.
Stop.
And then you go up to the
One second.
United States government. That's as far as you can go, because until you go to war with the United States government, there's nobody else to contest them.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Doing great.
What I'm
I have
dealing
a
with is not
question.
more important than this rhetorical space. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that. Okay, I will not be coming back here. God bless you.
Good, go hire a lawyer.
God bless you. Go with God. We dropped him. Truth, it's your mic.
Okay. I have a question. Not sure if I should be asking this, and it's towards you, Judge. And it's regarding, do you think because of the killings that's going on here in the United States, and I'm from DC, that they have insurance fraud going on with the killing, with the children?
I don't know. Maybe. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes not. You see,
Okay.
one of the problems that we're having right now that's different from 30 years ago, 35 years ago when I first got on the bench, 40 years ago when I was at the top of the game as a criminal defense lawyer is this. There's no intentional, purposeful crime like it used to be. It is morphed into random violence. In
Mm-hmm.
other words, what has happened is it's more like opportunistic mess. Somebody has a Super Bowl party and there's a nice pet dog in the house. Everybody jumps up to go watch a rerun on one of the many TV sets. The dog takes the opportunity to snatch a morsel off of somebody's paper plate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of crime we have now, not thought out, planned criminality. It is just spontaneous, typically violence. It's not thought out, it's not
Mm-hmm.
planned. Of course, there are exceptions,
Right.
but it's changed because there is this perception that is brought about because we are not teaching things to the youth. We do not have this in schools, public schools. I don't know what they're doing in private schools, but certainly not in the public schools, because there was negative fallout about 40, 45 years ago that stopped it. And that is teaching people a set of mores, a set of ethics, a set of principles, a thing about how you are expected to behave. Because now you don't teach children how to behave. It's what the child feels like doing, not this is expected of you and you are a freak if you don't behave this way.
I,
Okay.
I have a quick
So
question, Truth, for you.
yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit when you brought up insurance claims? I never heard of that.
Nobody would ever heard of that. And I'm gonna
I
say
have. I
this.
mean, it happens. Sometimes what's going
Okay.
on is the crime was committed, or the outcome of what happens is because there's an insurance matter.
Okay. So this is
Stuff does not get raised,
hmm
particularly when somebody's squawking about it, unless there's a deep pocket.
okay.
See, unless there's insurance, all of this stuff, I'm going to sue you, is useless because most people are judgment proof. You get a judgment against them, you spend a lot of money getting it, but you just lost more money because they don't have anything that you can legally seize.
Okay. So the reason that I brought this up is because of organizations, right? I have a son that was a part of the organization, worked for the organization as a violence interrupter. Okay. And it has been multiple of the guys that worked there. 2 months later, they dead. Okay. So happened my son gets in that. He started working for this company, then he died. I mean, he didn't die, I'm sorry. He got shot up. He was died, what they call it, dead on arrival at the hospital, but he was relieved from his
Revived.
injury. Revived, I'm sorry, from his injury. Now, I brought this information to the OAG, and they wanted to talk to me, interview me, and I didn't go forward because I didn't feel safe about it. Um, I'm aware of what's going on. It was brought to my attention of what's going on. I don't trust what's going on. DC is not trustworthy because you don't know who to talk to. I have been wanting to talk to an attorney in regarding this matter because I believe this is what's going on in the district when it came to this one organization. When I put this information out to OAG, then the councilman got locked up for bribery. Okay, and he was a part of the organizations.
It happens. Now, let me say this. I commend your son for his personal physical courage and bravery. That's why we have something called the hero. And humanity spends a lot of time lauding its heroes. Not so much this anymore because we don't have many except in the military, and we have developed the habit of hiding what our military heroes do. It's a bad thing. That is accepting personal danger
Mm-hmm.
or threats to your personal safety.
Mm-hmm.
And for the benefit of others, you take those risks. So, congratulations to your son. But there are things and there are tasks and are occupations that are hazardous. And we need to appreciate them more. Unfortunately, our category of hero embraces clowns like Al Sharpton or a singer or something, or an athlete who hasn't done anything except make millions of dollars doing what a lot of people do for recreation. That's not a hero. It's, do you put it on the line? Are you actually taking a physical risk doing what you're doing? That makes you a hero. If you face down the danger and you do it anyway because it's the right thing to do, above
So
and beyond what your job says you should do.
right. So Judge, let me say this to you. When I say it was multiple guys, when I say guys, they of age, they not kids. They take on this responsibility of jobs to help out the youths. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the tragedy that happened to them. So let me just say, my son is is one that he survived from his injury, and he talked to me and told me what had happened, right? So it's like I took initiative and did what I needed to do by talking to someone at the OAG, but I didn't give my name. I didn't give any of that because I don't trust it. But my son, when he got shot, he shot back. And my son,
Good for him.
so my son is in jail right now after 2 years. He's still not recovery from his injury. They didn't treat him as a victim. They treated him as a criminal. And I have a problem with that. I've been going back and forth to the court with him, doing he still have to go to doctor's offices and etc. So being though he was going back and forth to court, watching them how they railroad my son, in regarding this incident. Never once said anything about injury. Is he okay? Is anybody okay? Who shot you? None of that. They locked my son up.
Well, of course, that's in Washington, D.C., where the liberal element is in charge of the operation of the city. They think anybody acting in a manly fashion to stand up to evil or wrongdoing is somehow or another a perversion. Everybody should lie down and be a sheep in some nebulous something somewhere, unstated, unknown, is supposed to protect them like there's some kind of child still in a crib. That's
Mm-hmm,
not how humanity has ever worked, but that's how
mm-hmm,
the people who wind up imposing fascist, totalitarian dictatorships
mm-hmm,
uh, wind up getting in place because scared people don't want to be reminded of their cowardice by
mm-hmm,
appreciating those who bravely stand between them and a threat. So
mm-hmm,
they want everybody to be a victim. That's what I was talking about earlier. When
mm-hmm,
somebody is more worried about what number A or number one is going to do to them than
mm-hmm.
they can figure out to do to the other person to protect folk. They don't like that.
Right.
That was Muhammad Ali told me that one time. My late brother was his bodyguard. He said, I psych people out by getting them to worry more about what I'm going to do to them than they take time thinking about what they can do to me.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that's the
Right.
way this system works now. It keeps people in a perpetual state of fear. It
Mm-hmm.
takes away from them the thought process. They
Yep.
need to be brave and stand up. And
Mm-hmm.
it makes them more a victim, so they feel like they need more protection, which, as one of our speakers has already eloquently put forth, allows them to come in and start implementing authoritarian government in the name of safety. It does
Yep.
not work. And I'm not talking about Trump either. I'm talking about the other side that wants to take all of your rights,
Mm-hmm.
strip you of the ability
Mm-hmm.
to defend yourself, make you a
Mm-hmm.
criminal because you
Mm-hmm.
stood up for other people, and then when
Mm-hmm.
somebody tries to kill you, to
Mm-hmm.
make you a crook because you
Mm-hmm.
defended yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yes.
I'm talking about.
I thank you, Judge. I thank you, Dana.
Thank
I've
you.
been wanting
Appreciate
to
you.
get this out, but I really appreciate you all for having me up on your panel.
Well,
Yeah, and
thank
I hope
you for raising a son
Good
like
luck to
that.
your son.
Thank
I
you. My son
thank
is
you.
good. He's good though. We getting good spurs.
Well, excuse
We
me.
in good
Thank
spurs.
you, ma'am. Thank you for raising him like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did your
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
um
you.
okay, so we have Elder, Mr. Elder, and then Bishop, Brooklyn, Breadman, Borderline, Lovely. Go ahead, Elder.
Uh, how you doing, Dana, Judge, Peter,
How are
everybody in the
you?
space?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Yeah,
All right.
I tell you what, this AI making a lot of Americans very, very. People don't pick up a book more. They don't bother to read shit. Don't do none of that stuff no more. You look. I wanted to bring up 2 points real quick. The first point was a summit that Trump had with Putin in Alaska. I never heard none of the news media bring this up. None of the so-called experts why Trump brought it up. Had that summit in Alaska, which I did a little bit of research on it, right, and found out there was some people should know this. The Alaska was bought by the United States from Russia in the first place.
Actually, I was going to wait, Dana. I was listening to a lot of people as I normally do, but I will say this: the young lady that was speaking just a moment ago, the one from DC, talking about her son. Let me say this: I've been a bishop for a long time. I've also been an outcast because of the fact that when I talk to people, I talk to them and I give them the truth. See, we've been lied to all of our lives. Most people don't understand this, and most people don't want to understand. What we know a lot about of our history, things that we know that have been taught to us about our past, has been lies. The judicial system has also been a lie. And it's not because of honest people that got into the system, such as Judge Brown, who got into the system to do their part in order to make the system better. However, there have been a lot of folks who have gotten into the system because they know power, money, power, and greed, factors that draw people who want power. And in my experience, people who were, let's say, not of the best intentions to get into the system because they know that they would have power to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do and make money on the side doing that. In our judicial system across the United States, there are many districts, areas, whatever you want to call them, that have corrupt politicians. They have corrupt judicial systems. They have corrupt mayors. They have corrupt police departments, police chiefs, and so on and so forth. The evilness that has been in our system has been here for a very long time, on the fact of over 100 years. It has not changed, and it's not going to change. There are folks that are doing things in order to try to make things better. But until you weed out every last one of the people that have infiltrated the system and make the system an evil system, you're always going to have problems. If you commit a crime, if you don't commit a crime, if you get caught up, and especially folks who get caught up. I talk to a lot of people. People will come to me. I've had a lot of folks that have come to me that were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they were defending themselves against an attacker or somebody that tried to rob them or whatever the case was, and they defended themselves. That's a natural thing. If somebody comes and attacks you, you're going to defend yourself. The problem is that when the police come, in a lot of cases, they're not interested in getting at the truth. They're just interested in getting the people off the street. They don't care how they get them off the street. And 8 times out of 10, it goes against the person who was actually defending themselves. This is the problem that we have in America right now. We have lost our moral fortitude in the United States. Our moral fortitude was lost when people of illicit repute got into the judicial system. And now when somebody comes in to try to remove them, that's when you start having the issues that we have. It's always going to be a fight because now they're entrenched. They are entrenched, and they are entrenched very deeply. It starts at the top and it works its way down. And there are a lot of people that are in it. I have personally known folks who went in with the best of intentions and still ended up getting caught up in the criminal element of our judicial system. So I feel very badly, and I truly do, for people that get caught up in that. I have no remorse for folks who intentionally went into our system to tear it up for personal gain, and then they get put in jail for the things that they did. But they're the ones that always holler the loudest. And then they use the term justice to cover what they were doing. So I just wanted to say that. I'm going to get off. I want to continue to listen to folks. And Dana, Judge, thank you very much. Peter, good seeing you being a co-host this evening. I'm just going to sit by and I'm going to listen some more. But I wanted to drop that in because people need to understand this is a national emergency. And for me, however, it's a more spiritual thing. I won't get into that today, but I am doing a sermon on spiritual warfare. I'm doing a sermon series where I'm going to talk about spiritual warfare and how that works in our system today, how it is affecting us, how it keeps us fighting against each other instead of fighting our real enemy. That is what I'm saying to everybody that's listening right now. We need to quit fighting each other because the fight is not with each other. The fight is against the system that is creating the space for us to fight each other. They want us fighting each other. If they have us fighting each other, then we're not going to concentrate on the truth, which is them. And they are the true evil. Don't be mad at somebody who's going in trying to eliminate that evil. I really do not understand how people knowing, and I'm going to say this, knowing that the Democratic Party is not for the embetterment of the people of the United States, child trafficking, drugs, all that kind of stuff. That's what they're for. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And people have a problem with that. That's okay. That's your opinion. So be it. But it's not the truth. And that's something else that we are lacking in this world today. Because when somebody speaks the truth, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to listen to it. You don't even want to consider it. And that's exactly what your enemy is banking on. And
Can I ask you a question, brother?
Go ahead.
Do you not think by the way you made that statement, because you can say the same thing even if you was on the other side. Do you not believe, because the black community is coming into an awakening? So I'm just asking you, you don't feel like you handicap yourself when you talk like that? You don't feel like maybe you're walking around with one leg and one arm
When
when
I
you
talk
just
like
call out
what?
when you just call out
When I talk
one
like what,
party?
man?
Yeah. The
Be
state.
more specific. Be
Okay,
more
so
specific. When
I
I
got your
talk
back,
like
bro. You were talking
yeah.
about how we need to be together, and then you bring up Democrats, which is dividing a line between two different people and two different ideologies. So that's
okay,
not really about what you preach at all. And you said anti-system, and you bring up politics, which is complete systematic bullshit. So get your
well,
Yeah,
story
but he
straight.
only spoke to one side of the problem. So
well,
That's what
if
I
you
mean,
don't,
as
bro.
a
He's
black
creating a division.
man, I
Like
was just
it's
asking him. As a black man, I was asking him, does he not feel handicapped or put in the
Okay,
corner
so if you
when he
ask,
talks like
let
that?
him respond.
I hadn't got to the end of my answer, and I understand why you said that, because I was going to make the comment right after, as soon as you spoke up, I was going to make the comment, but there are Republicans involved with this as well. There are rhinos. There are Republicans that say that they are for making things right and doing things right. Yes, Republicans, independents, Democrats. There are a lot of them on all sides. There's a lot of blame to go around. The
So
question is,
just to be clear, brother, you're not actually calling out any Republicans. You're just calling out Republicans that you don't think are on the party line.
there are Democrats that I know that want change, that are not part of the evil of a lot of the Democrats that are out there. There's a lot of Republicans that are not trying to work toward the betterment of the United States. There are a lot of people from all of the parties that are involved with this. So I understand what you're saying. Okay. There's a whole lot of people from a whole lot of different areas. My point is this. We need to start focusing on how to get these type of people out of office. We have the power. It's called voting. We have the power to do it. But the problem is we spend a lot of time fighting each other, fighting our words, how we phrase things. We get too technical and we get, with minutia, and it takes us away from the target.
Let me just ask you a question, brother. Just a quick question.
Wait, hold on for a second. Brooklyn, 1 second, Brooklyn, because oh shit, never mind. You're next, Brooklyn. So you can ask him the question, but because I'm trying to like get through the speakers. So go ahead and ask him the question. It's just so happened that you're next.
I just, because you're being a little vague, so I just want to see what you mean when you say things like the betterment of America. What does that look like to you?
Okay, I had to unmute myself. When I say the betterment of America, I'm talking about making the United States, especially the legal system. There's a lot of unfairness that's there. That lady from DC was just talking about it. That's just one example. There's a lot of that's going on, but we can fight that. But we have to educate ourselves, and we have to work in order to take and vote the people out that we know are bad. If we don't do that, then we continue to let them run the show. And all we're doing is running behind them screaming. So we need to get out and vote, regardless of what people tell you to do. I've heard a lot of people say my vote doesn't count. That's not true.
That is true.
Your vote does count. Your vote does count.
Like I said, the brother was being a little vague, but I'm so glad that he mentioned spiritual warfare and having an enemy, because of course this political system is not doing anything for black people. It's just two sides of the same coin. The Republicans and the Democrats are demonic, and we have to fix our culture, and that requires knowing who our enemy is. And our enemy is this so-called white man and everything that built America and shaped it into what it is today. It all traces back to who shaped it. This justice system is designed to be unjust. It's designed to oppress people. It's designed to profit off of crime. And it's going to keep working like that. And it's everything all traces back to the same source. Child abuse, homosexuality, pedophilia. This is all white culture. And the sooner we realize we have a spiritual enemy, the sooner we can start rebuilding our culture.
So Brooklyn, what is the answer? Take us through the calculus. How do we start this? What's the first step?
I don't know who we is to you, because you sound like a white man.
I'm a Sicilian. I'm a Sicilian American. I'm a foundational Sicilian American. I'm FSA, and I'm standing in solidarity with the FBA organization.
You can stay in solidarity with the rest of your European people.
Well, they slaughtered about 150 Sicilians at the same time down south. They massacred them.
Do y'all know what the Italians did to black people?
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on for a second. Because Brooklyn, this is your time to speak. But I ain't never heard of no massive slaughter of Italians in the South. So what year in history was this? What year in history? Now, Brooklyn, this is your time. So
I can get that information before we get off.
You
but
don't even have it. You just heard it. You don't even have the facts. Okay. Well, go ahead.
I mean,
Brooklyn.
Well, no, I want to hear from Brooklyn what the steps are. Yeah, Breadman, just wait. Well, I want to hear the facts from Brooklyn about how you're going to right this ship and stop it from lifting.
Sicilians, but you know what? There has been oppression of black people by Italians right here in America, in New York, in Philly. There's been riots. If you go into an Italian neighborhood to this day, there are very recent news stories of black people being assaulted and killed for walking into Italian neighborhoods in New York City. So let's not play that game like we're on the same team.
Are you oppressed right now, as we speak?
My people are oppressed.
Okay. Are you oppressed, sir?
I care about my people. I don't care about just myself.
I appreciate you answering a direct question.
You're welcome.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.